What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about the Ordeal. This is going to be a guide for the best champions to use for it. And also, my team was including Red Skull, Crossbones, Spot, Medusa, and Onslaught. I did it in 2 revives, and I soloed every single fight except 3. So we're going to go over the best champions you can use for each fight. And also first, we're going to talk about what I did and who I used for those champions. So for Dr. Doom, I used Onslaught, pretty simple. You just don't want to take too much block damage because the bubble shield, also with Doom's block penetration, you take a lot of block damage. With Terex, I used Onslaught as well. Just want to maintain your distance, make sure you heal up to full because he is going to do a lot of damage now that he is a 7-star rank 4 defender. So yeah, definitely keep your distance when his damage is like too strong. Next up, I used for Vision, I used Medusa. You just armor shatter him. He is a robot, so none of his abilities exist. Here, this was my first death, so I used Medusa, and I was going for special 3s because if I go for a special 1 to get my true accuracy, there was a chance he like auto blocked midway through my special. So I went for special 3 cycles, and I think I died because like I took one of his special 2. But Medusa works great, true accuracy, really good for auto block. Next up, we got the pig, so I used Crossbones there, very easy fight. Weapon X, I used Red Skull. He has that heal block, just a bit of a longer fight because he is not the fastest champion, but pretty safe. Next up, we have Thing. So I used Crossbones, very simple fight there too. Now this was like probably the most difficult fight here early on, which I used Onslaught on this Korg. You have to play this pretty safe because there's a lot of nodes that are difficult in this fight. Mixmaster, Flux Dispersal, and this Gauss Warp, I think that's how it's pronounced. So you take a lot of block damage, and sometimes you have to because you have to like heavy him. And then Mixmaster is really annoying, but Onslaught is very good because his first medium and light are not contact, and also you get those passive stuns when he shrugs them off. Dragoman was the fight that I was worried about because I don't have someone with power control, but Spot just annihilated him. Like he literally destroyed this guy so quick. And Spot, I chose him because basically with Aspect of Evolution, the opponent, look at that, they gain critical rating, armor, attack, critical resistance, block penetration, ability accuracy, and combat power rate. So if you do burst damage like Spot does on his special 2, they get the critical resistance, which eventually if they get like 2 or 3 bars of power, they basically crit immune. But because Spot's damage is, most of it is from red numbers, he kind of bypasses that crit resistance. So that allowed me to actually nuke the fight before his power gain gets out of control. So that was really nice. Next up, the Civil War Black Panther. I was a bit worried about this fight, but ended up somehow soloing him with Onslaught. It is a tricky fight. We're going to talk about the best champions to use for that guy because he can be a bit tricky now that he's also the buffed version. Now the Evaders. Nightcrawler, I used Spot here, and I switched them, so it was very easy once I did that. I took a 5-hit combo though at the beginning. There's a chance if you get a 5-hit combo and he ends with a light that he switches himself, so that could be kind of nice. And then Spider-Gwen here, you cannot use someone with true strike, and also she has the Force of Will, so you cannot really use like Falcon with ability accuracy. I ended up using Medusa, she has that true accuracy, just ignores the evade. Domino, Red Skull, very easy fight. Here was another death with Spot. I think I took him to 10% left. I ended up taking a lot of degen damage though, but Spot absolutely nuked him. He did such a great job. Honestly, dude, 1 death on this guy was very happy about. This was a Medusa fight, I-bomb. Up next, APOC, I used the Red Skull for that fight, very easy. Red Skull super tanky for that block damage on the specials. Spot handled that Sasquatch very easily. I was like, maybe he can out damage it, and he just destroyed him. Up next, we had Medusa for this Killmonger, very, very good counter for this fight. And then was the 3rd death here on Void. I forgot that Void was immune to Incinerate, and ended up bringing Crossbones, and I was going for the special 3s as soon as I noticed, but I could have soloed, it's just I missed an intercept towards the end, but with Crossbones it's still possible. And then we used Onslaught for Nick Fury, easy solo. And lastly, Thanos was a very easy solo with Onslaught, man. He's one of the best counters. Okay, so now let's talk about the best counters for each fight. They might not be the best, but those will work. So for Doom, you just want an extra large champion, which, you know, could be Onslaught, it could be Hulk, it could be Joe Fixit. It's a very simple fight, just try to not take too much block damage. For Terax, you ideally want to have energy resistance, like Travis, Kushala, or even Rintra. You can definitely like do this fight very easily with those three. For Vision here, you either want to have power control or a taunt. So taunt characters, we have Photon, we have She-Hulk, we have Deathless She-Hulk, Spider-Ham also has a taunt, Stark Spidey has the power control, the taunt as well, very good option for that. And then obviously Medusa, just to shut him down. Easily the best counter though. MODOK, you ideally want to have a True Sense, True Accuracy, or you can use someone with Undermine. You can use Scream, you can use Gore, and then you kind of like shut him down. Now for this Spider-Ham, this is a bit of a difficult fight. You definitely want to bring someone for him. I brought Crossbones, works very well. You can also bring Moondragon or Venom. Those will ignore his evade, but they will be very slow because they would not be able to place debuffs because this guy is debuff immune. You can bring Bullseye. It will be a slow fight, but he does counter the evade. Serpent as well counters the evade. Atuma counters the evade as well. And I think one of the best counters for this fight is Professor X. That's what people used like as a 6-star back in the day for this gauntlet. Very good option for Spider-Ham. Now we have Weapon X here. So for Weapon X, you can use whoever, but ideally want to have someone with heal block, like, you know, Red Skull, Omega Sentinel, Lady Deathstrike, Warlock, and lots of others. Now for Thing, you can bring Black Cat, you can bring Falcon or Crossbones, but honestly you can do the fight even without them. For Korg here, there's only 3 good options that I think will work perfectly. The others will be difficult to get a solo at least. For this Korg, I think the top 3 options, Onslaught, Professor X, and Dazzler. But if you want Dazzler to work perfectly, you want to have her duped, and ideally High Sig. Because High Sig is going to give you more Pursuit, which means more counter to the Mixmaster basically. But if you have Dazzler like very High Sig, she will handle the fight perfectly. Professor X is really good for this fight as well. Even though it will be tough in the beginning to get your evade counter, but once you do that, it's not going to be a problem. You could also bring White Max pre-fight. He is a 7-star if you have, you know, space in your team. And if you have White Max, the fight is very easy with Professor X. But Onslaught is perfect for this fight as well. This one. This Dragon Man. So this fight is a bit scary, man. So I think the best option for this are Quicksilver. He's got those withers. Deathless She-Hulk has withers on the special too. It is a bit of a sketchy fight though. Not my favorite. Spot, you can nuke him very quick like I did. And then you can also bring Void with his Petrifies. And also Sentry. I think Sentry in this content will actually be very solid. And then lastly, Spider-Man 2099 has those withers, the power control. I think he's gonna work perfectly. Now for this Black Panther Civil War, ideally want to have someone with Neutralize or Stagger, because every time he throws a special, he gets the Footloose, which is very annoying. And if this guy corners you, it is scary because this is the buffed up version. So some of the best champions I believe are Wiccan, Hood, Juggernaut, Longshot, and potentially Mojo if you got that 7-star version. Now for those evaders, you can switch Nightcrawler. He's very simple. You can do whatever. You can do this fight with whoever, but if you are scared to switch him, you can try to use Serpent, Medusa, or Thanos. Up next, we have Spider-Gwen. Pretty much the same thing here, but you have to bring someone for the evade because you can't switch her. And remember, you can't use ability accuracy or true strikes. So some of the best options are Medusa, like I did, Serpent, or Deathless Thanos. Up next, we have Domino, very simple fight. You can bring Red Skull, Shuri, Omega Sentinel, Ironheart. Just bring someone that's immune if you don't want to take too much crit fail. Now for this fight, you have to be careful, because if you die in this fight, you're going to die multiple times, because he's persistent charges. So some of the best fights for Mojo, you want to have someone that's ideally, you know, Dex immune, buff immune, or has a lot of degen resistance. So for example, Some degen resistant champions, we have Count Nefaria and also Spider-Ham. But you can also try to use Titania. She is fully immune to buffs. Spider-Man 2099. I use Spot, which he goes buff immune, which is really strong. You can also bring Silk. She is dex immune, or Shuri. She is also dex immune. Now this fight is very easy. You just want to bring a poison immune. But because he reflects the bleeds back to you, I believe the damage you take from those bleeds is the damage you deal with those bleeds. So I use Medusa. Her bleeds are not dealing too much damage. That's why I was not taking too much damage back. But if you bring someone that has like very strong bleeds, it is going to be a problem. So try to avoid, using bleed champions for this fight. APOC. I used Red Skull. You can also use Red Skull, Shuri, Omega Sentinel work great. Stark Spidey, Ironheart. Very simple. Now this Sasquatch, he can also be a bit of a problem. Some of the best options, we have Luke Cage, completely shuts down the fight. Same thing with Sentry, he can apply those exhaustions, very simple. Photon just covers the heal block part of the fight, the regen. Quicksilver can also deal with that. He's got a ton of debuffs, really good damage. And then you can also use Silk, very nice with that Petrify. Spot is who I used. He can easily just destroy him so quick. And then Void with that Fear of the Void. Now this fight can be a bit of annoying. Some people don't bring counter for this fight. I'm glad my Medusa worked perfectly for this fight. For Medusa, if you want to use her, you want to go for 6 armor breaks with your basic attacks. You need to be like super aggressive and get good AI. I got lucky, but once you get 1 armor shatter, it is very easy to keep getting it over and over. But if you don't want to have or don't have Medusa, Scream is amazing for this fight. Shuri is really good for this fight. Deathless Thanos is decent because he, basically ignores his reverb. You're just not going to get power, so it is going to be a little slow. And then same thing with Onslaught. He will be slow, but he does cover you from like the bleed you take through the block, which by the way isn't too much, so you don't have to worry about that at all. And then Void can also be a bit of a problem. I think some of the best options are Black Cat, Okoye, Shang-Chi, and Shield. You can also use Crossbones if you have a high Sig one, but remember that he's immune to Incinerate. Don't be like me. And then Nick Fury, just use any mutant, honestly, very simple fight. You can use this node here, Kinetic Transfers, to actually push him to special dudes, make the fight easier. And then lastly, we have Thanos. So Thanos, his first phase, you don't want to hit him too much because he applies some bleeds to you. If you use Onslaught like I did, you just basically heal from them. Special 2, he's going to degen you, and then you're going to regen that health back. And with the Recovery Master, you're actually going to heal more. And you have to dex, those real bubbles on the special 2. It is not reverse controls or anything. And then his third phase, you have to intercept him because he always throws special 3 and you take some damage. Avengers cap the damage on the special 3 at 15%, and the others, I believe, is either 25 or 30. But some of the best options for this fight are champions with Wither, because if he plays Wither on him, his power gain is passive, so he's never going to throw a special with champions like Spider-Man 2099, Quicksilver, or Deathless She-Hulk. So you can use those 3 and cheese this guy. So yeah, man, I really hope this video helped you guys. You can also use my team if you have it. I think it's perfect, honestly. It really went better than I thought. I can only use 2 revives and some health potions. But yeah, man, hopefully this video helped you. Good luck with this. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.